So.
Your Excellency, what you were saying about the Israeli treatment, especially of Arabs, the Israelis are saying the Arabs are doing towards the Jews. They say you are anti-Semitic.
We are not anti-Semitic because the Jews who are in Israel are not Semitic. This is number one. Most of them came from Europe, especially Eastern Europe, and they are not at all Semitics. Another reason is during the Spanish War, when Muslims and Jews were kicked, they could only have refuge in North Africa by the Arabs. And they were ministers, they were helpers of kings and rulers all over the country. Before 1947, Egypt, a few 100,000 of Jews, so Iraq, Lebanon, Morocco, and other countries in the Arab world. They were free, they were living with the Arabs like brothers. In fact, they were controlling in the way, and in the way they were cooperating with the Arabs in every way. Now, when Israel was established, they were convinced that they would have a paradise there. And they went. Now they are suffering as far as we know. Then, if you go back, who are Semitic people? They are the Arabs and the Jews, the race. How could we be against ourselves? It's impossible to think that somebody is against a Danish against Danish because he's Danish. I cannot understand it.
I know, of course, you're Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia, but especially right now the Israelis are campaigning that the Jews in Syria is treated harshly.
I think Syria has issued too many times and asked people to go to Syria and see what's happening there. On all this, we are used to this maneuvering of the Jews in Palestine and out of Palestine. But if they are really they really mean what they say, let any international group go and see the Jews in Syria and any Arab world, and then go to Israel and see the Arabs. We challenge them in this, if they accept the challenge. But always they were against this.
Your Excellency, how do you view upon recent developments in the Middle East? And by recent developments, I mean developments within the last year. Do you view them favorably or?
Of course, I see that from our point of view as Arabs, we think that we have realized one of our main goals, to make the West, to make the public opinion all over the world know that we are not as we were introduced to the people or to the world, people who cannot fight, who cannot learn, who cannot do anything. That was one of our things which we have succeeded in. Second, we have killed the idea of the Zionists that secure boundaries could not be except in this place or that place. Israel could never have better boundaries than Suez, which is it's a part of Egypt since 4,000 years or before, and Julan. And those were taken in 3 days. So this also proved to be nonsense. They said we could live for 100 years and the Arab could not push us. They were pushed. And without that huge help they received, nothing could stop the Arab from having their old boundaries of 1967. Third, the Arab are more cooperative. They have gained from their cooperation, whether by using oil or sending arms, though symbolic, to the front, whether in Egypt or in Syria.
Right now there are certain signs of a break-up in the front. I'm thinking of the quarreling between Libya and Egypt. What is your comment upon the prospects of a continuance of Arab unity?
I think unity is something big, but unity as it is, it does mean it is too early for the Arabs.
But do you think the united front can stand together also in the future, or will this quarreling between some of the Arab countries?
No, once it comes to the cause, we are one hand, even if we are against each other. But still, I cannot say the Arabs are one hand, except in this cause, because it's fatal for us. Libya and Egypt, they don't have good relation. We don't know how far that could last. But we believe that no Arab country will be forever against or have bad relation with its sister.
It is also significant that during the latest year, the Western world has regained some of its positions in the Middle East at the, I would say personally, at the expense of the Russians. How do you favor this development?
We are with this. Our area is not ready to accept, and it's by nature, is not a fertile land for communism. We are people of faith. That's why no such thing could exist or interpret in our country. Now we see that it's withdrawing. We are not against any country in this world, but we don't want any country to interfere in our interior affairs. We see that the West is understanding more than before our cause and our situation. For one reason or another in the past, we were, as young country, some of us took some radical measures which could not be accepted in the West because of different mentality, and then because of some ignorance among them concerning the history of the Arabs. The Arabs were great. They had great empire in the past. They participated in giving the world something which was beneficial for all the Western and all the world during that time. So after being under colonization, after being colonized by non-Arab states, they were hungry to have, by instinct, some leadership in their area. Of course, when you start such a thing, you cannot satisfy the others. They took it from this angle that they are nationalists, a new thing coming like Nazi regime. We suffered for a long time from countries who are taking our wealth, paying us nothing, making us work, take the result of everything goes to them and nothing for the country. That's why what we have done was too much to be swallowed by the West. then we had that reaction against all the Arabs. It was done by one or two countries. But who was suffering from that? All the Arabs. As in 1967, we had 3 hours war, not 6 hours, not 6 days war, as they said. But it was against Egyptian army who was not ready to fight.
How do you see the peace prospects in the area?
It's very easy. Withdrawal from 1969-67 boundaries after the Israeli aggression, then allowing the Palestinians to choose whether they want to go back or they want to be compensated for their lands or houses or whatever it is.
It may be easy seen from an Arab point of view, but anyway, as far as I can understand, the Israelis, they don't see it as easy as that.
We never cared about what they see. I mean, every aggressive, those people are foreigners coming from every part of the world. They are gangsters. They were trained, they saw what the fascists did to them during the war. And they came to the area with the same ideas. And they are doing the same thing fascists used to do. Add to that they are very racialistic, if I can say. They have different classes. They differentiate between black and white. The Arab are third class to them in their country. They don't move except by having, even the Arabs who are there since 1948, they have to have permission to move in the country. Even among the Jews, they have different classes. So it's a new sort of fascism, racial government or racial state in this world. It's it's worse than South Africa because the killing there is more. Torturing against the Arab is done by Israel against the Arab is more. Unluckily, they have the media all over the world. So what we say doesn't reach the world, but what they say, it always goes to the people.
This will reach the
I'm
Danish
sure.
public.
I mean, I'm sure. I know this country is different from others. Though you are a small country, but always we think not of you only, of Denmark, of Sweden, of some other North countries, the more advanced countries all over the world. You care about human beings and peace more than anything else. That's why we find you helping and losing even people. Once there is a trouble, you are ready to help with medicine, with food, with observers, with soldiers, and you have.
Oh, it's hiding.
In June 1967, no Arab country was consulted that fighting is going to be in the Middle East. That's why the war took few hours and finished. It was different from 1973 because Egypt was ready, Syria was ready. Then they gave us the chance to help. They gave us 10 days or more. Then we unified. We stood one hand against the aggression. And we have achieved a lot. Now we know that solidarity among the Arabs could bring a lot for the Arabs. And history will not repeat itself as 1967, but always as 1973. And they were never asked to fight.
Sorry.